Hi guys, today we're going to talk about mythology. Well, a myth in mythology. And I don't mean Greek mythology either. I don't know Greek and I never read enough Percy Jackson to be like, hey, these are the gods and stuff. We're going to talk about blindness mythology. So this week I decided to answer a question that I get all the time, which I think also is kind of a blindness myth that people have. I don't really know. The question is, are your senses actually heightened because you can't see? The short answer is no. The long answer is, I think that as I've gotten older and really learned my way around my disability, I think I've trained my senses to compensate for what my eyes can't do. And so this week I thought I would just give a few examples of how I've trained my senses to do different things and how those examples make up for my vision loss. So the weakest senses that I have are definitely my senses of smell and taste. Other than my vision, of course. Other than my vision. Sorry, I'm like turning my head to the left so you can only see the right side of my face. Anyways, my sense of smell doesn't do very much for me. I can smell whether food is rancid or whether it's safe. I can also tell foods apart with my sense of smell. So like I can tell, I don't know, tacos apart from tomato soup or something. I can also, I think I may have already said I can figure out kind of a place by its smell. So like different buildings at school have different smells, and even going in different parts of different buildings have different smells. But I don't ever rely on my sense of smell for navigational purposes because it's so weak. I mean, so weak that when we were potty training my pet dog, he pooped twice outside my bedroom within 24 hours of each other, and I stepped in it both times. I think it was purely malicious. But, you know, maybe it's just his way of saying, you have a weak sense of smell. Anyways, my sense of taste is also pretty normal. The only thing I use it for is my pleasure that I get in eating food. I love food. When I get a cold, I may not be as inclined to eat everything, but my world isn't completely rocked. On now to the sense of touch. Most sighted people actually are more intrigued by the sense of touch probably than anything else because they look at the braille that I'm reading and they go, how do you tell all this apart? Because most sighted people, even if they know braille, they've learned braille with their eyes. They can't read braille with their fingers because they can't tell the groupings of dots apart. And so that's one way that, as a blind person, I've trained my sense of touch to be sensitive enough that it will tell those dots apart. I've also been able to train my sense of touch to pick out different textures very easily. So I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple months ago in my How I Match Clothes video, I did talk about that being how I identify some of my clothes is by texture. I'm not one of those weirdos who can tell you the thread count and everything and is super picky about that, but I can definitely tell my clothes apart by texture. Sense of touch is also a really big thing for cane users. Not so much with guide dog users, but cane users get really good at picking up on different textures under their cane. Also, picking up on different surfaces that their cane connects with and knowing what's what. That's definitely something that orientation and mobility training trains you to do. Like I said, it doesn't work with guide dog users. You don't have as much tactile feedback, although if you're a blind person getting a guide dog, you're probably pretty dang good at being able to drag your foot and find the detectable warnings on the street. truncated domes, detectable warnings. I've heard them called several different things. Anyways, the probably most important sense to me is my hearing. I use my hearing for everything under the sun. I use it for navigational purposes, a lot more when I was a cane user, but I still kind of use it now. I can hear when there's a doorway approaching. I can hear when, we're walking by an intersection. I use my hearing to get across streets. So I use my hearing for a lot of navigational purposes. I also have used my hearing to signal when certain things are happening. So, for example, when I was younger, I used to be in a yearly program in my church. And when we would go to sing the songs, everybody would stand up. But there was no way for me, other than to listen to the rustle of the chairs and the clothes and stuff, to know that we were standing up. Because, I couldn't see the conductor getting ready to start waving their arms. However conductors conduct. I do have perfect pitch. If you don't know yet, I am a musician, and I do have perfect pitch, and I did develop it really early in my musical career. But the reason that I think that happened is because I did not have print music access. I didn't even have Braille music access. I didn't know Braille music existed. And I was also in a situation where I had to learn my music a lot slower than my sighted peers. Like, I had to learn how to read it and stuff a lot slower than them. And so I trained my brain to be really good at pitch matching, at playing what everybody else was playing. And eventually that evolved into something like perfect pitch. I don't actually know when I got perfect pitch. Like, I'm thinking through a timeline of my whole life, and I don't know. Anyways, so that's kind of how I've trained my various senses to work for me. If you have trained your senses to do other things, or if you think I'm completely wrong and that blind people do actually have heightened senses and we're born with them, please let me know. Also, if there's another myth about blindness or about disability that you'd like me to talk about, or a frequently asked question that you may have asked or have not asked or get asked, tell me about it in the comment section. Just talk to me, guys. Tell me what kinds of videos you want me to do, what kinds of stuff you never want to see me do again. Anything. Just talk to me. That is all for this week. I will see you guys next week. Have a fun, safe week, and be awesome. Bye.